guys, Tomboy601, and today we have a bit of a news video for you. One, we talk about Ark Royal and the shenanigans that are going on with it, and then after that, we have a new ship spotted out there testing on the high seas, and we have a match where we get to see it, and we can kind of try to infer some of the stats. So if that sounds good to you, just stay tuned. Now, first things first, we're going to go ahead and talk about Ark Royal. I'll go ahead and play the clip from the recent live stream.
And we'll have a couple more games left before we have to wrap it up.
Yeah, so when it comes to Ark Royal, we want to nerf it. However, there are basically legal issues with doing that have to get worked out. And that might take a long time.
That's like the most straightforward answer you're ever gonna have on this matter.
Yeah.
To be fully honest, we know it's busted. There's not like it would be ridiculous to try and hide it. It's just that painted ourselves into a corner again.
Cool. Yeah. So it's complicated. Now, from a little bit of Googling, I think what's going on is as of January 1st of 2023, some new EU regulations went into effect specifically. And once again, Dami, not a lawyer, didn't go to law school, not, and certainly not in a lawyer that specializes in European law. So, take all of this with a grain of salt. But I think what's happened is Directive 2019/771 of the European Parliament finally went into effect, and it has an effect on digital goods. One of the key points in it is it says that it doesn't affect non-tangible digital goods, but I think maybe Wargaming may be afraid that because there's a physical version of the game, you could consider games falling under this new directive, and therefore it has to follow by certain rules, one of which has to do with changes to contracts of sale, i.e., I think that would be the stats of a ship when they sell it to you, and what the company has to do in order not to fall foul of it. I think the other interesting part is there is a thing within this whole thing this whole law, I guess we would call it, that states that even if you have a disclosure, if your disclosure runs afoul of this law, then then it does not count as a disclosure. Basically, that disclosure doesn't work. This law supersedes any disclosure you may have had. So my guess is what happened is this went into effect because the way that Ark Royal is they would like to nerf it, which would change the contract of sale, which means they can't, even though they added that little text that said they could at any time. That is my assumption as of what's going on. They can't do that now because they can't use that ability to change. They can't use that ability to change because the law says if you put a disclosure in and it supersedes this law, it's ineffective. So the other part of it is that the lawyers are probably just doing their job, Wargaming's corporate lawyers, because their job is to kind of prevent any sort of lawsuit. And because this is a relatively new directive law thing, they don't want to be a scapegoat to decide the case law on it. I'm assuming the European law system is sort of like the laws of America, where you kind of have a new law, and then if you want to try to challenge it, or if you're kind of the first one coming up against it, you're going to end up challenging it. It will protract you into a long legal battle, and you just don't want to do that, especially if your job is just to avoid lawsuits at all costs. That's the point of corporate lawyers. They're just there to make sure that they don't end up running afoul of any regulatory reasons here and there. So that's my guess as to what's going on. What are they going to do with Ark Royal? I don't know. It's not like they can Weimar it, right? They can't move it up to tier 6 because we don't have tier 6 carriers. Could they move it up to tier 7? Maybe. I think you could make a compelling case that maybe Ark Royal could in fact perform at tier 7, but I'm just not sure. But guys, that is the Ark Royal news. Let's now dive on in, because a new boat has been spotted out there on the high seas. It's Atlantico, tier 7 battleship. It is a Pan-American boat, and this, if you've been into the rumors, if you've been into the subreddits, if you've been into the communities, you know this boat has been rumored for the last couple of weeks. Final Boss sort of hinted at it on a bingo sheet over on the Reddit, talking about Pan-American boats, and well, here it is in the game at tier 7, which tells me it will be a premium ship. It will not be a campaign reward ship. Think of it, over on PC, it is a secondary focused battleship. Couple of stats that I've kind of been able to glean from this match, just watching the boat. Based on the stripes, we're looking at about 60,000 hit points, which matches what it has over on PC. We're looking at about a 30-second reload, which once again matches what it has on PC. And the speed, based on like how quickly it's maneuvering on that mini map, I was able to kind of guess we're probably looking at like mid-20s as far as speed goes. So 23 to 27 knots, I'm going to say. So kind of slow. Kind of slow for a tier 7. The idea of Atlantico, at least over on PC, is its secondary range. It's a secondary focused battleship. 381 millimeter guns. I think it has 10 15-inch guns essentially. But the idea of it's a secondary focused battleship, its concealment is about at where its secondary battery range is. Now, historically, we've had much shorter secondary battery ranges over on this game compared to PC, so I don't know if that's going to hold true over here, though I will say, in this game, those secondaries were ablazing. They were a firing. So I think we can expect to see some secondary action going on from this boat. I, for one, look forward to kind of goofing off, having fun with this boat. Also, it's apparently incredibly well armored for a battleship, which makes sense if you're going to give it 15-inch guns at tier 7, 30-second reload, and secondaries. You're going to want the armor, right? Anyways, so that's Atlantico. We'll see what happens with it when it comes out. I, for one, looking forward to it. But guys, that's all I have for this brief little news video. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. See ya.